Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, my name is Mary Taylor. I am the Vice President of the Baltimore County Student Coalition, and thank you. Thank you very much. As Pat said, Pat and Valerie, in Respect the Constitution, was very instrumental in getting we were once a reopened Baltimore County Public School Group. In January of 2021, we became a legal incorporation, and can't thank Pat and Valerie and Respect the Constitution enough for making that happen. Thank you both. Once again, my name is Mary Taylor, and myself and Amy Adams, who's actually speaking at a town hall tonight about student safety and discipline when Baltimore County couldn't make it tonight. But Amy and I are a team, and we're a proud team. We started out in, actually I started out in June of 2020, and I started a Facebook page called Reopen Baltimore County Public Schools, because in March, as you all know, the government shut us down for 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks to get over the curve or whatever they called it. And within 2 weeks, they said 2 more weeks, and before I know it, they put all of our kids in Zoom school. And they finished out 2020 on virtual learning, which we all know was a failed program anyway. And I just want to let you know that by August, when we started out with about 800 members through the summer. By August, when we knew kids were not going to go back to school in person, they were going to continue virtual learning. By the end of August, our group exploded to almost about 1,800 members, so we gained about 1,000 members, and that's when we gained Darren. Darren became a member of our group. He came as a concerned father because his children attend Baltimore County Public Schools, and we had a rally in October of 2020 in Towson, and Darren was one of our main speakers, and he was so well, people couldn't say enough about what he had to say, and he still says it today, don't you? If kids can go to Dave & Buster's, why can't they go to school? You say it all the time. And just to give you a brief overview, I could tell you that Darren stands on education, safety, and mental health, and I know he does, because I talk to Darren at least weekly, since this all started. And I remember the evening that Darren called me and told me he was thinking about running for the county executive. And we spoke for about an hour, and we prayed, and he made his decision after he spoke to his lovely wife Susan, and a week later he told me, and I think I probably was like one of the first couple people you told me you were going to run for county executive, and I'm telling you, he is going to make a great county executive, ladies and gentlemen. So I just want to give you a brief overview. I gave everybody one of our papers, one of our flyers we hand out. Once again, we are the Baltimore County Parent Student Coalition. And I'd just like to know, how many people in the room has ever heard of us? Well, thank you. That's more. How many people actually belong to our group? Yeah, okay. Well, we need you all to join. We need taxpayers, we need parents, we need grandparents, aunts, uncles. We need you all to join us. We are stronger in numbers, and believe me, we are making a difference. As Pat told you, I was investigated by our Baltimore County Police Department, and no offense to our police department, because the detective that called me felt very silly, because I am actually an advocate for our police. I do lunch with Leo's, with Kate, and I attend most of the PCRC meetings that I can. I speak to the captain of my precinct all the time. I thank my police every day when I see them on the street. So when they had to come investigate me, they felt pretty silly about it. But it came all the way from the top. It went from the three Board of Education members. Dr. Williams was one of them. It went to Chief Hyatt, and Chief Hyatt went down to county executive. And before I know it, I had my whole life torn apart. Because I was challenging Baltimore County Public Schools about being transparent and accountable for what was happening inside our schools and to our children. Now that's all behind me now, but I always tease people. I was a domestic terrorist before that became, popular, So I wear that as a badge. I feel like I was over the mark, if they were coming at me that strong, I knew I was making a difference. So I just want to go over let me know when I get to my time, dear, and I know I have 5 minutes. But if you look on the back, we have top 10 of what things we are planning on doing. And now that we're past COVID, we had the opportunity to do that. It's been one heck of a fight these past years, just trying to get over the COVID mitigation strategies they were putting on our kids. I don't know if you know it, but myself and Allie Rack, we from Charles County, we crowdfunded $42,000 in 10 days, 2 weeks ago.
All right, that's good.
To file a lawsuit against the Maryland State Department of Education to take the masks off our children. Well, our masks are off our children. So I am very proud of that accomplishment. Well, our top 10 really quickly is we want to decrease academic proficiency, and I'm just going to give you some statistics that came out yesterday or 2 days ago. Only 25%, this is grades 3 through 5. Now y'all really have to hear this because this is what's happening inside your school. 3 to 5-year-olds, only 25% of our children are proficient in reading. 25%. Only 18% are proficient in math. These are real numbers. Only 40% of 5th graders are proficient in science. This is unacceptable. Parents, you need to know your children are not receiving a proper education. They are more concerned about social and political ideologies than they are worried about teaching your kids reading, writing, and arithmetic. Parents, you need to get involved. Your children are not getting an education they deserve. Let's speak about curriculum. We have sent over 22 Freedom of Information Acts to Baltimore County Public Schools for curriculum transparency, and they refused every single one of them. We cannot get copies of the curriculum that they're teaching our children. Why? Because they claim it's intellectual property. They own it. We can't have it. But guess what? We pay for it. Taxpayers' money pays for that curriculum. So there's a couple bills right now, which we actually have testified for. Let me, real quickly. What are my notes?
Curricular transparency.
Yes, the curriculum, SB 786 with Senator, thank you, Carosa, Curriculum Transparency and Publication Act. And then there's another one that Delegate Butler is sponsoring too, which we testified for. So there's a lot of bills out there. You all really need to pay attention to legislation this year because there's a lot of good ones, but there's a whole lot of bad ones too. And I'm not going to go over the list because the list is about this long, but if you join our group, you can get the email. We send out email blasts every week that bring everybody up to date and how they can oppose or vote for certain legislation that would be important to your children's education. How about safety in our schools? Darren, you know, you get these emails, you get these phone calls every day, just like I do. It's very sad. Our children are, actually they protect the children who are harming our children, more than they protect the children who need protection. You know, right now, Baltimore County Public Schools is holding a Zoom meeting with the public. That's where Amy is this evening. They're getting feedback from the community and parents about how they can change their 2 policies. They have 2 policies that are supposed to initiate some kind of discipline, but they're all into this social emotional learning and restorative practices. They're not disciplining these kids. They're actually sitting them in their room and let them talk about feelings, and then they're back in the schools doing the same stuff the next day. It's not working. How about the budget? Darren, you spoke on this, right? 51% of your county taxpayer money goes to Baltimore County Public Schools. That's over $2 billion. Tony, you touched on this too. There is no accountability or transparency. There's no accountability of where your taxpayers' money is going. And just between 20 and 21, we received almost, I don't even have the number in front of me, but they received COVID money from the federal government, and they received ESSER funds too, and that is in billions of dollars. We don't know where any of this money's went to. Building conditions. I don't know if you all know, but Towson and Delaney High School is in desperate need of a new school, and all BCPS can talk about is how it doesn't follow their equity agenda to replace these 2 schools because most of the kids going there don't fit into the minority standards. But Delaney, if you go into Delaney, their water is brown. I mean, you can't even wash your hands in this school. That's how old, almost time. So we got community engagement, Special education, IEPs have not been served for 2 years. We have staffing shortages. Nutritional services, the food they're feeding your kids is disgusting. And then we want to work on emergency management so that these type of, the masking and the vaccines and the way they put our kids in virtual school will never happen again. So it's my time to finish up. I hope I didn't overwhelm you, but this is what we've been dealing with for 2 years. And trust me, we need some help, ladies and gentlemen. So you have the flyer, you know how to find us. Please join us. Thank you very much.